TATSU is an amazing two-handed Nikana. No matter what others say, I will stick to these words as so far, I'm enjoying this weapon. Yes, I know, this weapon has some mediocre stat, but it doesn't mean that we can't do something to make it powerful. Remember, one good aspect of Warframe that makes it fun to play is synergy, creating and combining weapons and frames to make an insane synergy, which will make something endgame worthy. That's how I made my TATSU powerful, and if you have a couple of minutes to spare, then let me tell you the secret on making this awesome new melee weapon insanely powerful. If we look at this weapon's stats, we will get disappointed. In all honesty, I was hoping for a balanced critical and status chance-based stats, but instead, we were given something with high status chance, and some good slash damage, with innate radiation damage. I really just don't like the critical stats, as I'm more of a critical fanatic, but anyway, so much for the stat talk, as stats alone are not enough to judge TATSU as a good or bad weapon. Stat-wise, it might be mediocre, but there are other aspects about TATSU that makes it awesome. One of them is its stance. The weapon may not be a complete shocker, but the stance is an absolute stunner. Aside from the fact that the combos are pretty fun to perform, the stance does make TATSU great overall, due to the fact that not only does both Threshing Grain and Calling Thunder has the ability to knock down enemies, but also, the quick upswing of the Calling Thunder combo does have the ability to force/proc, and we all know how good /damage in high-level content. In addition to the new stance, the melee gameplay of the game has been reworked. The Phase 1 of Melee 3.0 does include a smooth flow of gun and sword play, which not only makes it easier to switch between your guns and melee weapons, but it also opens new combos that makes weapon perform better in endgame content. Okay, let's proceed to the modding section of this guide, so I can explain how Melee 3.0 helps TATSU become a better weapon. So here's how I mod this two-handed Nikana. As you can see, I choose to have Blood Rush on this build, regardless of the fact that it has mediocre critical chance. It's because I can easily boost this weapon's critical chance, to the point that I can land red critical numbers to the enemies, with the help of this mod. And the cat's eye buff coming from my TheFatRat. Yes, Blood Rush still works as normal right now, and it does help you do more damage with your TATSU. Also, I did add 2 dual status mods on this build, along with the Drifting Contact mod, for more status chance of course, not to mention that Drifting Contact does help in maintaining my combo counter. Now for the element, I choose to go with Viral, since it synergizes well with /damage. I know what you are thinking, but squad leader, /don't proc most of the time surely with this mod setup. Well, that's where you are wrong. Remember what I've said earlier about the Wise Razor stance. Do remember that its Calling Thunder combo does give you the ability to force proc /damage. So yes, Viral and /combo is a good setup for the TATSU. Primed Reach is a personal preference, but honestly, it should be a must, as it makes the TATSU effective, especially if you are dealing with a bunch of enemies. And of course, Primed Pressure Point for more damage. And lastly, I have Condition Overload. Some of you may prefer Organ Shatter, as this build does proc critical damage with the help of Blood Rush, but here's the thing, Melee 3.0 does help you get the most damage with a Condition Overload TATSU. Most of the time, I equip something, like there's Actu to proc status on an enemy, and then finishing them up with my TATSU. Condition Overload is really a thing now for most status melee weapon, since we can freely use our primary or secondary, along with melee weapon, in one single fluid movement. Once I've applied enough status on an enemy, I can just slash them up with my TATSU. It's both fun to do, and really effective. Now, I don't want to lock you up in a certain setup, as honestly, TATSU can be played using any frames, but if you have the time, then try out a max health in arrows, a TheFatRat, a status gun like the Zakti, and then a Condition Overload TATSU, just like the build I've shown you, and yes, pair it with the Naraman focus tree, and have fun with this new dual-wield Nikana. Honestly, I thought I would also dislike TATSU at first, however, that wasn't the case. When I built my TATSU for a Condition Overload setup, it just melts high-level enemies, even those heavily armored ones quickly, when it gets to 3 times combo multiplier, due to its heavy /procs, and additional damage because of the innate radiation damage. Not to mention the status that has been afflicted by my Zakti does add up to the overall damage given by Condition Overload. Now that's overkill, and if you love things that are beyond powerful, then you will definitely love this TATSU setup. So that's it. I do hope that you find this video informative. Like always, Please do give this video a like if you enjoyed watching it, and don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't joined yet our channel. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.
You're the one.